Hey, Barbara. So, you want to know my secret identity? Well, that's right, you already know it. You guys ever had a friend or a group of friends that tell you to do something that is special about you, whether it be like a double jointed bone trick or a special voice that's very unique and very awesome that you could do? They never get tired of hearing it, but you could become a little tired of doing it. That to me is my theory as to why Mark Hamill had decided to retire his personification of the Joker character after doing Arkham City, because he just felt like it was the right point to do away with that character and just kind of keep it in the vault after having done it so many times for so many years. That is, of course, until Warner Brothers Animated Division decided to adapt the Batman Killing Joke comic book that is presented to us by Alan Moore and Brian Bolland, who I believe was the artist. And it was only with this adaptation that Mark Hamill said, "Yeah, I think I could do one more." Hamill, as well as various people, love this this interpretation of the Joker because it delves into not only the psyche of his character, as well as shining just a brief light on his backstory without giving away his name or too many details about his past, just the very important moment where he made that turn, that cross into madness. And furthermore, it analyzes the relationship he has with Batman. So with that condition that Hamill stated, a lot of people are like, yes, please make The Killing Joke into an animated film. And now WB Animated and DC have answered their prayers, and now we got Batman The Killing Joke, the animated movie. People were excited about the movie enough, but then controversy arose when it was revealed that this was going to be the first R-rated DC animated movie, because they are adapting The Killing Joke, which happens to contain some very disturbing material. So if you guys know anything about those DC animated movies that come out directly to Blu-ray and DVD, you know that some of them, in fact the vast majority of them, are actually really good. So good that people are often wondering, why is it that they can get those animated movies right with their characters and their plots, as opposed to the live action comic book adaptations of these characters? My answer to that is that they stick with their medium. The way that they design their plot, as well as the way that their characters are not only written but also voiced by their voice actors, strictly caters to the animated template. And to me, I feel like Batman The Killing Joke, the movie, is a definite example as to where you should draw the line of keeping an adaptation to the medium that it was presented in. Because I'm telling you right now, Batman The Killing Joke is an excellent piece of comic book fiction in the graphic novel state. As an animated movie, however, I feel like it overreaches too much, to the point where some added filler was added to something that could have been adapted for like a 30-minute special that you uploaded online. Because if you know anything about those DC animated movies, that most of the time they're about like an hour and 15-minute movies, like an hour, 15 hour and 20 minutes. This is no exception. However, the book, you can read it in literally about 30-45 minutes, maybe about an hour, and it's done. So if you were to take that and make it into a movie where you got lines of dialogue just going and overlapping one another, then you're making what's practically like a 30-45 minute special. So if you're thinking of the worst case scenario, what they could have done with the Batman Killing Joke movie, you are probably in the right. The first 30 to 35 minutes is literally a brand new separate story centered around Batgirl that literally feels pinned on to the original Batman The Killing Joke. I swear to God, they literally took two little mini movies and just sandwiched them together to make an hour and 17-minute movie that is being called Batman The Killing Joke. So the first 30-35 minutes centers around Batgirl and her struggle of trying to meet at Batman's standards of being a crime fighter, trying to interrogate this guy who's stealing stuff from the banks and from his uncle and all this other stuff, and her relationship with Batman that generated a lot of controversy recently with a specific scene that wasn't even that big of a deal. And that's literally it. And the sole purpose to put that there is to kind of build up for a tragedy that happens within the actual Killing Joke story that they then took from the comic, and that starts about halfway through when they start to replicate frame by frame, panel by panel from the book itself. And don't get me wrong, that whole storyline with Batgirl within the first 30 minutes, it wasn't bad per se. The animation is good. The voice work from everybody in the cast, particularly Tara Strong, who's playing Batgirl, was good. It just felt like it was in its own separate universe, to the point where not even Joker is alluded to, and I feel like this could have been released separately, like as a webisode or something. So once they get to the actual Killing Joke adaptation with Batman opening up that gate just like in the comic, you almost forget that you were watching The Killing Joke, and then finally Joker introduces himself and you're like, oh yeah, it was about time that we got to that. I don't remember any of this being from the comic, and that's because it's not there. And so once you do get to the Killing Joke, again, the animation is fluid and very much lifted from the comics, and they did a very good job of representing those panels. And the cast, from Kevin Conroy to, of course, Mark Hamill playing Batman and Joker respectively, they do a good job at reading the lines that are lifted from the book. But the reason why I say that this is a good example of not to translate from one medium to another is that when I was reading the book, I imagined different voices and different delivery for some of these lines of dialogue from those characters that played to the story that Alan Moore and Brian Bolland were trying to tell. So when you take Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill, who are known for the animated series, and then you take the medium of an animated movie and kind of take even some other facets like the music and the direction and the color design, the color template and all that stuff, there's like a slight clash in tone. I feel like in segments I was watching the animated series, but then in other moments I was watching something completely different. And that's where I realized that this had a similar problem with the theatrical version of Watchmen. The theatrical version, not the director's cut. But it had the similar problem where they were replicating the panels, they were replicating the dialogue, and on a technical level they were nailing it, but there was an essential quality to the way that we read it in our minds through the comic that just couldn't be replicated in the media of it being an animated movie. And that happens an awful lot of times throughout the book, whether it be in the actual Killing Joke adaptation once we get to that point, or even before that with the Batgirl storyline. I'll go as far as to say that the reason why that Batgirl storyline was jammed in there is so that it can meet the standard of it being a full-length movie, and therefore be released on a Blu-ray format so that then you can go out and buy it. And to me, that's just a tad bit shady. So I give Batman the Killing Joke, the animated movie, a high 6 out of 10. What's with the 6s? WB and DC. Lately, Suicide Squad, now this. Get your shit together. So if you're looking for a great adaptation of that one bad day that made Joker cross that line of insanity, then I suggest the Batman the Killing Joke book. It's much better. It opens up different angles to the analysis of the Joker's psyche as well as his relationship with Batman, and it leaves you with your own version of the story and kind of makes you ponder by just how short the book is. It leaves you with much more than a 75-minute movie. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Sound off in the comments below. If you have seen Batman the Killing Joke, please let me know what you guys thought of it. If you have read the comic book, how does it compare to the animated movie? And do you think that all the controversy about the certain scene involving Batgirl and Batman was warranted, as well as the R rating? Remember to hit that thumbs up down below, subscribe if you haven't done so, and I'll see you guys next time. And remember, do not forget to smile.